I knew something was off when I got home from school that day. The front door was unlocked. Now, my sister, she never left the door unlocked. And when I walked in, the house was eerily quiet. Our mom wasn't yelling at our dad to clean up his socks or his dirty dishes again. No TV was on, and I even heard a cricket chirp. In our house, we had a rule: no shoes inside. And as I walked in, I saw this black shoe on the floor. It was one of my sister's ballet shoes. She was always practicing in her room. So why would her shoe be outside her door? Was she trying to sneak out of the house again without telling anyone? I was 12 years old, and my parents had absolutely no idea that I could walk through walls. Well, not literally walk through walls, but I could walk through doors when they were closed and not get sick. I'd been practicing it for months by hiding under people's doors or peeking over their shoulders while they were talking to me. If I could master this skill, then I could spy on my parents whenever I wanted. If I hid behind the right door, I could hear them talking about things that they didn't want me to know about. Things like money, like how bad my grades were. And even once I heard my parents fighting about whether I should go to summer school or not. I think I mastered my spying skills around that time because I never got caught. So now here I am. I was home alone and I was curious what my sister was doing. I couldn't see her anywhere. She wasn't in the living room or the kitchen. Maybe she went to her room. As I made my way upstairs, I heard her voice. At first, I thought maybe I was just imagining it, but then I heard it again. She was definitely talking. I continued walking upstairs. I wasn't going to her room. I was going to the door directly across the hall from mine. When I was little, my parents built a bookshelf next to my bed to make sure I would read more books. Now that I'm older and taller, I can easily peek over the top of the bookshelf. The door was slightly open, so I walked in and looked around. My sister wasn't there. And then I heard a voice from behind the bed. I walked closer to the bed, and as I peered over the edge, I saw a girl with long blonde hair. Who was it? Why was she in my house? I've never seen her before in my life. She turned around and smiled at me. She had these sparkling blue eyes, and then she said, "Oh, hi there." Then she did something really weird. She reached out her hand to me and started moving her fingers like she was dancing. I think I must have been staring at her awkwardly, because she finally broke the silence. "Don't you want to join me?" I think she was asking if I wanted to dance with her. So I climbed onto the bed and I started moving my feet like her. We danced together in silence for a few minutes until I felt my mom's voice coming from downstairs. "Emma, where are you? You need to clean your room." Then the girl jumped off the bed and ran to the closet. She opened the door and disappeared inside. I mean, how does someone just vanish like that? I was confused. Then my mom walked in. "Emma, I told you to clean your room." Then she noticed me. "Why are you in here? Shouldn't you be in school?" "But Mom," I tried to explain, "I just came home. I swear I heard someone in here. Maybe it was an intruder, a girl with blonde hair, and she disappeared into a closet." Mom stared at me dead ass. "Y'all crazy. There's no one in here. Go clean your room." She walked out. I guess she thinks I'm insane. But I tell ya, that girl was definitely in my closet. That night, after I ate dinner, I decided to take matters into my own hands. I went straight to my room. I pulled the bookshelf away from the wall. It was a bit loose. Then I slowly opened the closet door. It looked dusty and dark. I mean, no one ever cleans this thing out. What was I waiting for? I stepped inside and brushed some clothes aside. Suddenly, I heard my sister's voice. "Gotcha!" I screamed and fell backwards. I landed on the ground and hit my head at her. I sat up and noticed that everything looked different. This wasn't a closet. It was a portal. I looked around and saw that it was pitch black. I couldn't see anything. I was scared, but I was also curious. Where does this thing lead to? I stood up and walked through the portal. The other side was brighter. When my eyes adjusted to the light, I realized that I was in another room. I walked over to a mirror on the wall. I had this urge to check my reflection, but what I saw made me drop to my knees. It wasn't me looking back at me. It was the girl from earlier. She was wearing one of my shirts, but the rest of her body was still her regular clothes. How is this possible? trouble? I don't understand. Suddenly, the door opened and my sister walked in. She had a big smile on her face. You found it. Then she looked down at my clothes and asked, where did you get that shirt? I started, but she cut me off. Emma, I haven't had a chance to talk to you yet. Come with me. I followed her out the door and into the hallway. I had so many questions. Like, who was that girl? Why was she in our house? What was that room? And why was my sister acting so weird? We walked in silence for a bit until we reached a staircase. We went up and down several flights of stairs until we finally arrived at a door. It was purple. My sister knocked 3 times, then opened the door and walked in. I hesitated for a moment, but then I followed her inside. It was a bedroom, and in the corner was the same girl from earlier. She was sitting cross-legged on the floor, and then she stopped moving and stared at us. I think she was pretending to meditate or something, my sister said. This is Emma. She's my little sister. The girl looked up at me and smiled. Hi there. Then she looked back at my sister and said, is she the new one? Yes, she's the new one. Then my sister looked back at me and said, when you go home, you have to forget everything you saw today. You can't tell anyone. Do you understand? But what about you? What about the portal? What is this place? It doesn't matter. Just promise me you won't tell anyone. Okay, I promise. After that, my sister led me back to the stairs. We went down the many flights of stairs, and she brought me back to the exact spot where we met. I was in my backyard. Then she vanished. I turned around to go back to the house, but when I looked back, the door was gone. In its place was a brick wall. I ran towards it and pounded on it, but it didn't budge. I screamed, but no one answered. All I could hear was the sound of crickets chirping. I spent the whole night kicking and screaming, trying to get someone's attention. But when the sun came up, everything changed. The wall was gone and the door was back in its place. Nobody believed me. My parents thought I was crazy. They said that I made the whole thing up, but I knew what I saw. I knew what I experienced. I wouldn't make this up. I'm telling the truth. Now, I keep the door locked. I don't go near it anymore. Every time I think about what happened, I wonder if I'm going crazy. But sometimes, late at night, I swear I hear voices coming from behind the wall.